So for some reason, Naruto vs Sasuke at the Kage Summit is still widely considered to be a toss-up, but I don't really believe that this is the case at all. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. While I don't believe that this is a complete stomp, I do believe the fight leans heavily in Sasuke's favor at this point in time. So for my explanation, I'm just gonna strictly be using feats. There are a lot of narrative arguments that you can provide as to why this is a very close fight, or maybe even that Naruto would be able to beat Sasuke. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna skip right into the meat and potatoes. If you want a more in-depth explanation of these narrative arguments, I encourage you to check out my buddy Virtue's video. He explained these topics very well, and I agree with pretty much everything he said. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So it's worth noting that Sasuke was performing pretty well against the 4th Raikage at the very beginning of the Kage Summit, before his MS had really even developed any further than it had against B. As a matter of fact, Sasuke was shown to be faster than the 4th Raikage in his version 1 state, while Sasuke only had his basic 3-Tomo Sharingan active, not even his MS. Of course, Sage Naruto also fought the 3rd Raikage during the start of the 4th Great Shinobi War, so they should have pretty similar speed scaling, right? Before I answer that, we need to establish the connection between the 3rd and 4th Raikage. Are they even relative to each other in terms of speed? So the 3rd Raikage was known for stalemating the A-Tails on a daily basis. They would fight each other all the time and sometimes even pass out from exhaustion. However, the 4th Raikage is stated multiple times to be stronger than the likes of Killer B, who is the perfect Jinchuriki of the A-Tails, and we know that a perfect Jinchuriki will always be stronger than its Bijou since it has the ability to focus their chakra more. Of course, both the 3rd and 4th Raikage have fought against KCM-1 Naruto at some point in time. The 4th Raikage fought against KCM-1 Naruto just as he was leaving Turtle Island, and is stated and shown to be relative to KCM-1 in speed with just his version 1 cloak active, not even using his full power. Of course, the 3rd Raikage also shows some kind of relativity to KCM-1 since he's able to dodge his Rasen Shuriken twice consecutively. However, I could argue that the 4th Raikage actually fought a stronger version of KCM-1 Naruto. So it's stated that whenever Naruto is using his KCM-1 form, Kurama is constantly siphoning his chakra, so if he uses it for extended periods of time, he's going to be fatigued and weaker than he normally would be. Like I mentioned, the 4th Raikage fought Naruto just as he was leaving Turtle Island. He hadn't even made it to the 4th War battlefield yet. Meanwhile, the 3rd fought Naruto later that morning after he had stayed in his KCM-1 form throughout the entire night. Of course, the 3rd actually fought a shadow clone of KCM-1 and not the real deal. This was after Naruto had dispersed himself into 12 separate clones so he could fight at each and every single battlefield. Basically, the 4th Raikage fought a stronger and less fatigued version of KCM-1 Naruto who hadn't split his chakra amongst 12 clones yet. As a matter of fact, whenever Naruto is fighting the 3rd Raikage, he gets a flashback of his fight against the 4th Raikage and says, "Yup, all of these Raikages are really fast." Yet in that flashback, he is thinking about the version 1 4th Raikage who is not currently using his full power. So based off this line of reasoning, more likely than not, the 4th Raikage in just his version 1 state would be equal to, if not even faster than the 3rd Raikage. To sum it all up, Sasuke with just his basic 3-Tomo Sharingan was already shown to be faster than the version 1 4th Raikage, while Naruto was only ever shown to physically react to the 3rd Raikage, who was possibly slower than the 4th. So basically, Sasuke scales to these KCM-1 level opponents in terms of speed, while Sage Naruto is just like Sage Naruto. I'm very hesitant to say that Sage Naruto even scales to the 3rd Raikage in speed. It's possible that he just aim dodged him with the extra danger sensing factor that he gets from Sage mode, but of course there's no denying that he was able to physically react to the 3rd Raikage, and I don't think he'd have any problem reacting to Sasuke as well. I just like to establish the speed gap between these two characters. Of course, this was just Sasuke at the very beginning of the Kage Summit. We know that he should get stronger based off hatred amps because his Susanoo is also rapidly evolving. So by the time he goes up against Danzo, his Susanoo has gone from just a ribcage to the whole dang humanoid. This is a very clear progression of power, speed, and mastery over the Mangekyo Sharingan. Now in terms of physical strength, Naruto got it hands down. Sage Mode is such a massive buff to your physical stats that it would be wrong for me to say that he wouldn't take this category. But I do believe Sasuke should be able to see this nature energy because the Sharingan can see chakra as colors, which is a component of Senjutsu. It's not like this really matters though. I don't think Naruto is touching Sasuke in close quarters combat anyways. I've already established that Sasuke is physically faster than Naruto, so therefore he would have the speed to dodge all of his taijutsu strikes. But let's move on to the win cons. What can these two actually do to put each other down? Amaterasu is something that Naruto has no way of expecting or countering. Even if you give these two the intel from their skirmish after the 5 Kage summit, Naruto doesn't know Sasuke has Amaterasu until much later in the 4th Great Shinobi War. Of course, Amaterasu is extremely fast. Whenever Sasuke whipped out the Mangekyo Sharingan against the 4th Raikage, he felt the need to enter his version 2 state immediately. This is corroborated by C's statement in which he says verbatim that the Raikage is preparing to use his body flicker specifically so he can combat against the Mangekyo Sharingan. So basically, the Raikage needed a higher tier of speed that Naruto doesn't really have any scaling to at this point in time. You can argue that he'd be able to sense it coming with Sage Mode danger sensing, but I feel like even that would be a stretch. He has no way of dodging it, blocking it, or really doing anything. Of course, Kagetsuchi Blaze release is possibly even faster than normal Amaterasu since Sasuke was able to wrap it around his entire ribcage Susanoo while the Raikage is seemingly moving in slow motion. Keep in mind that this is still version 2 Raikage with body flicker active. Of course, Sasuke also has the Susanoo era, which is consistently shown to be faster than his normal physical movement speed since Danzo was able to combat and react to Sasuke but could not do anything to dodge or avoid the Susanoo arrow in the slightest. He couldn't even make the hand signs to activate Izanagi before he got hit. Since I've already demonstrated that Naruto blatantly isn't in Sasuke's tier of speed at this point in time, he just have no way of countering the Susanoo arrow in any way. It's just too fast for him. Sasuke's Genjutsu is also something that shouldn't be trifled with. It's very potent at this point in time. Earlier in the series, Orochimaru is quite literally getting flashbacks of Itachi and is being traumatized whenever Sasuke whips out Genjutsu on him. He heavily implies that Sasuke's Genjutsu prowess is approaching Itachi's level, and this was before he even gained the Mangekyo Sharingan. I also think that nothing short of the Rasen Shuriken could break through Sasuke's Susanoo since the humanoid and armored versions of the Susanoo really have no anti-feats in the entire series, they're just kinda cracked. Speaking of the Rasen Shuriken, I don't think it's even a big deal whatsoever. I definitely believe Sasuke has the speed necessary to straight up dodge it entirely. We see Pain was able to do something similar twice. Like even the Pray to Pass big ass was able to jump in front of Tendo Pain and start absorbing that shit immediately. Like Sasuke is doing the exact same thing but even faster. Like even if Naruto tricks Sasuke and he somehow doesn't have enough time to dodge the Rasen Shuriken, he should just be able to overpower it with Fire Release because wind is weak to fire. Of course, Amaterasu is stated to be the highest form of Fire Release in the entire series, so I see no reason why Sasuke wouldn't be able to counter it with the Black Flames. Realistically, Naruto has nothing else in his arsenal that would be capable of damaging Sasuke. The Rasen Shuriken is the only thing that will deal meaningful damage, and he's not going to be able to hit Sasuke with his normal Rasengans because once again, he's just too slow. Naruto summoning in Gamabunta and Gamakichi is a possible option, but Sasuke could always take care of them with Amaterasu or even Genjutsu since we know he was able to do the same thing to Manda, who should be a similar tier to someone like Gamabunta. Technically, during the Kage Summit, Naruto didn't have access to the same prep time that he did against Pain. I'm just now realizing this, so realistically, Naruto shouldn't spawn in with Ma, Pa, and the extra clones he keeps at Mount Miyaboku. Like honestly, Naruto might just be cooked. We don't even know if he has a legitimate summoning contract with Ma and Pa, so he might not even be able to bring them to the battlefield in the first place, which means that he would lose out on a really good win con, being Frog Song. Of course, not having an additional reserve of Sage Mode clones would also be very, very bad news for Naruto. So I'm really not comfortable saying Naruto's mastery over Sage Mode is any better than it was during the Pain arc, so he should only be able to create 2 Rasen Shurikens at a time before he runs out of Senjutsu energy. And if Naruto at any point runs out of Sage Mode, Sasuke is going to easily piece him up. Base Naruto versus MS Sasuke is not even a competition, it's just a slaughter. So overall, Sasuke has a considerable speed advantage in this fight, as well as having multiple win cons that Naruto simply doesn't have a counter for. As for Naruto, his only win con other than Frog Song would be the Rasen Shuriken, and I've already demonstrated why that really isn't a big threat for Sasuke. Some people have been complaining that I rely too heavily on statements to support my scaling, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this one because I use purely feats. Hopefully nobody's too upset that I didn't address any of the narrative arguments. Just be lucky that I didn't say like Danzo fight Sasuke scales above Hebi Sasuke, who's already whooping Sage Naruto if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time. Thank you for watching, and other than that, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.